Hey, friends and family from Ronny's Farm to Table. It is a frosty Wednesday morning. We have about 3 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be about minus 16 degrees Celsius. And I have to work outside on a little project here. You might be wondering, what's that, Ronny? My wife and my dad have been begging me to create some kind of a shelter for the feral kitty gang. So, what I'm going to do, I have this triangle here that sits on a pedestal and open this inner door here to a room that's not heated, and they will be able to kind of go underneath here and in here. However, I still have to put a tarp over it, make it more secure so it doesn't blow away or anything. And I think they would have a nice area in here where they get some food. We're even gonna probably put a heating mat out there, so they will love it. So that's one of my first projects to get done. Then midday I have a meeting that I have to attend to, and after that we will see what we can do around the yard. So stay tuned. Update on the kitty shelter entrance. I think I did a pretty good job. Down here's down there's a little hole where they can go in, climb up through it and into the building. It looks pretty good. Looks secure. I'm probably gonna put a couple stones on the north facing side just to make sure that there's no wind that can creep underneath it. But I think that will do it. Alright, on to the next projects. Welcome to the Berliner room. Look, we have a flag in here now, which means I can declare this room a sovereign nation in Minnesota. We shall call it Mini New Berlin. Just kidding. No, I found this flag a couple days ago and it was a gift to my dad from one of his foreign exchange students. He had 7 foreign exchange students from all over the world 30 years ago starting. And this was his first foreign exchange student that came to Minnesota. And I'm kind of related to him, but that would be a whole different story. It would probably take a couple of minutes to explain. But that was a gift to my dad. I found it, and I thought, how appropriate is it to have that flag in the Berliner room? Next up, I want to talk a little bit about my duck work up here. I have a system that's kind of based a little bit on research, a little bit on my own innovations coming up here. And I wanted to go a little bit more into detail about it in this section here. Over here we have the growing tent, over here is the dark tent. And I will start like nature basically starts with the dark tent. When you think about it, a mushroom spore is spread all over the place in a forest. And they are very opportunistic and very resilient. And they love the spores, which are basically like the little seeds of the mushroom. They like an environment which is underneath the leaf layer, dark and carbon dioxide rich. And that's very important, that what I'm trying to achieve over here, which will make sense in a minute once I explain you what's going on in the growing side here. So on the growing side, basically when the mushroom is ready, it pokes out its little head and starts growing, and then you can find them in the forest. But once they poked out of that layer, they come into an oxygen-rich environment, high humidity, and light. And this is what it's simulated in this tent. And this tent, how I said, it needs a lot of oxygen, fresh air basically, that is in here. I have a closed system, it's being pumped in all the time, constantly. But however, the mushrooms are like little living beings in the growing stage. And what do? They consume oxygen and give off a lot of carbon dioxide. And if I would not be pumping it out, the carbon dioxide would be rising in here, coming up to a level where I have my mushrooms, and my mushrooms would not be happy. So what I have to do all the time is pumping out the carbon dioxide, coming out here, going over there into the dark tent. And once it is in the dark tent, I keep it in there for an hour. And there's research showing that if you keep the carbon dioxide in a growing tent, well, in a dark tent, that it will really reduce the duration of the colonization stage. And I can see that already because after 48 hours having my bags in there, I always see a lot of colonization happening. So they are very happy in this carbon dioxide rich environment. And those guys are really happy because they have always fresh oxygen and very little carbon dioxide. I have a monitor here which I set about 712 parts per million, and it kicks in all the time once it goes over it. So I have a really controlled environment on this side. So I just want to explain to you guys why this ductwork is going from one tent to another tent. Next up will be our section, What's Up Mush? And for that, I need my super clean, sterile mega outfit. Hold on a second. Ka-ching! I did it again, it's magic. All right, I sprayed myself before, and I'm just gonna spray myself quick again, all the surfaces. All right, I will turn the camera around. We're gonna take a look through all the bags today. There's 100 bags, so it will take a little bit longer than usual, but for you guys it will be super short. Let's get you around and take a look. Here we have one of the white oysters, and they are just colonizing very, very nicely. Overall, I have not seen any contamination. Doesn't mean it will not happen, but it looks all really good. Moisture looks good in it, and the mushrooms are looking good in it. Something I find interesting here, on the back, you can see that the mycelium also tries to go on the outer edge of the wall, because there's a little bit debris dust of the substrate up there, so it thinks it can grow there. I've seen that now in a couple bags. So overall, very good. And as a comparison here, this is about a week and 3 days old, and this one is about 2 days old. You can already see the colonization happening on it. Same variety. Very nice, very nice. Here's actually a bag that I had to sort out of my growing tent. It was on its second flush, but look at that, trichoderma, oh no. So it started to develop it after I opened it up. I kind of can see why, because when you look here, this area looks very uncolonized, and it was able to get opportunistic there. And if I would let it grow in the growing tent, it probably would take over and release a lot of spores. Even though the rest of the bag looks pretty good, I'm not gonna grow that. And that's the second bag that I already have like this. The first one I already drew out this morning, then I looked a bit closer in the growing tent and found this one developing this little green dot up here, which we don't want. All right, now let's check the growing tent. Going into the growing tent. Oh my gosh, somebody must have robbed me. All my mushrooms are gone. No, just kidding. They're over here. I kind of organized them a little bit more so I know what's going on. So let's take a look. Here we have some of the first flushes still coming up from the golden oysters. They look quite beautiful. You remember this guy from yesterday? Look. Hold on. Look how much it has grown within 24 hours. They were just similar to this. Was yesterday there, in 24 hours it became something like this. Amazing, amazing. So that one looks pretty happy. This one looks harvestable. Some lion's mane coming up here. Another cluster of golden oysters. That guy is coming out. Here we have some more golden oysters. And something that you have not seen yet, that I want to show you, is this variety. It took its sweet time to show up, but when you look here, the little black dots on there, those are chestnuts. And I've been growing them too with all the other varieties, and they just have not shown up yet. So, otherwise, down here are the second flushes, and none of them are any good. Well, they're all good, but none of them showing any growth yet. So, that was the update from the growing tent. Hey, I just wanted to show you guys Kaiser. That's this area where he usually sleeps during the day or during the night. He's doing pretty good. He's doing good. Oh, he's sliding down. Just wanted to say goodbye. Thank you for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye. Have a good one.